Kranti Sambhav, editor and lead of Auto at Times Drive, joins us now. Kranti, welcome to the show. So,
Thank you so much.
obviously, Kranti, there's nothing mild about the hybrid cars these days. And in fact, if we talk about hybrid versus EV, that's the hottest debate right now. Tell me what's latest, what's the news around, why so much buzz?
As you must have noticed in our last conversations also, I must have mentioned the upcoming Grand Vitara from Maruti Suzuki and also the Toyota Hyryder. I remember having a chat with you when Hyryder was announced. So these two products are, creating the buzz because these two are coming with strong hybrid options. The strong hybrid option, which is from Toyota, but as we know, internationally, Toyota and Maruti Suzuki or Suzuki has joined hands to create to produce electric cars. But at the same time, they are also producing some local products from Maruti Suzuki. For example, they have Glanza, which is basically a Baleno, and they have Urban Cruiser. So after that, this is a unique kind of setup where Maruti has made all the developed this car, and Toyota is producing at their Bidari plant in Karnataka, and that is the reason I guess everyone is quite excited. Also because this is for the first time coming in that segment or that price range where which is basically exciting all the customers because till now we had few mild hybrids. They were not exactly strong hybrids and they didn't have all the benefits of a strong hybrid, but few of the hybrids were pretty expensive. For example, Toyota Camry hybrid was expensive. So now with Hyryder and Grand Vitara, I think that phase has come, and all the common car buyers can also think of going towards that segment, and I guess that is why this whole excitement.
So, Kranti, explain what is a mild hybrid and what is a strong hybrid. Also, what are the car makers actually looking at? Because we are talking about EVs and we are setting up an infrastructure for electric vehicles. But do you think hybrids would actually act as a transition phase or in the interim period till the time we have a complete EV ecosystem in the country? Hybrid would be the market that car makers and consumers and buyers would actually prefer.
So to answer the first question, most of the many cars you must have seen either micro hybrid or mild hybrid. What they tried doing, attaching a small battery, which could help you to a certain extent, very limited range, but to a certain extent, which could reduce the fuel efficiency, enhance the fuel efficiency by margin, right, nominal percentage. But now the strong hybrid actually has two different kind of propelling mechanism. One obviously has the one is the ICE internal combustion engine. For example, if you see Toyota Camry or Honda City, they have electric motor also, and they have also the traditional petrol engine. So what they do is they produce combined power, and in that sense, the hybrid, this is what we call strong hybrid, where the battery actually plays a part in improving or enhancing the fuel efficiency, and it delivers power as well. So this is the basic, in layman terms, this is what we how we differentiate mild versus strong hybrid. As far as future is concerned, this is the question which everyone has been trying to answer, because if you look at Japanese manufacturers, for example, I remember having this chat with Toyota top management last maybe 2 years. This is what they have been pushing for. They say that electric mobility is great, that is the future, but to reach there, we need to take a middle path where we graduate from ICE internal combustion engine to hybrid and then go to electric, because they don't seem to have this feeling that this is the only option we might have in the future. So they've always been pushing electric hybrids, strong hybrids, and that is the reason we see Camry hybrid, and now we are seeing the Hyryder as well. So I guess now is the time when we explore all the different options. If you have noticed, maybe from last 5-6 months, we have all again started talking about the hybrids. Otherwise, we were just discussing EVs.
So, Kranti, tell me something. Now, let's talk about the adoption of the EV infrastructure, which seems to be really slow right now. What tricks and tips would you want to give to a hybrid a car buyer if they are looking or wanting to wait for an EV, and right now because the pace is very slow, you think they should actually go for a hybrid car and not wait so much for an EV?
This is very interesting, calculation, Kavita, because this is the whole this is whole conversation around EV versus petrol or diesel versus hybrid. Is that many experts believe that if you create enough awareness, people will go for EVs, and then you get all the arguments against EVs that okay, all the electricity which is produced is not green anymore. But one argument which I've seen resonating with most of the customers is how economical it is. And I guess if you look at the current electric car scenario, you have Tata Nexon and Tigor, out of which Nexon is almost selling 3,000 units, which is huge as far as electric vehicles are concerned. Then tomorrow we might see another launch from another Indian car maker, which is, by the way, quite late in this segment. But Mahindra is launching their XUV 400, which is the electric version of XUV 300. So what we are seeing is the product or the options are increasing. At the same time, I would also suggest all the viewers, all the car buyers who are thinking of buying a new car in the coming 2 to 3 months, they should definitely wait for the pricing of Hyrider, Toyota Hyrider and Maruti Grand Vitara prices as well, because at the end of the day, they're not as cheap or as inexpensive as their ICE petrol diesel counterparts, but at the same time they are more efficient. And if you look at electric vehicles also, they are more efficient. They make more economical sense now. So I would suggest all the customers and all our viewers to maybe wait for these two hybrid pricing as far as Toyota Hyrider and Maruti Grand Vitara is concerned. Then they could easily decide whether to go for electric or with a hybrid.
Hybrids, Kranti, do you think the GST of 43% is actually a villain out here?
I guess right now, what is happening, Kavita, is that we are all experimenting. I think the price and taxes definitely they play an important role. And if you look at the hybrid car scenario, initially government used to give more subsidy to hybrids, but at that time it was a nominal hybrid. So after that, I guess they backtracked, and now the scenario is that everyone is kind of also working towards electrification. So hybrid somehow, because of these two products, I think they've come into the whole center of this whole conversation. But I guess pricing, taxation is definitely an important aspect of this. But I also feel that most of the customers are looking at they are calculating in a more aware. I mean, they're more aware, and they're calculating more mindfully. So that is the reason they're either waiting for the hybrid, or they're looking at electric vehicles also.
For hybrids, the demand would be more in tier 2 or tier 3 towns, or you're saying a demand pan India which is going up?
I think one interesting thing about electric vehicles is that, in urban area, I've seen all my friends and experts, they have been discussing the eco-friendliness of electric vehicles, but at the same time, I've seen customers, calculating the expense they have, their fuel budget versus the electricity charge budget. And that kind of makes sense. And in this age, when we are so connected, word of mouth is it spreads so fast. I think most of them have started thinking about the electric vehicle because it is economical as well. And if I can refer to Tata's last research, I think almost 95% of the customers were charging at home. So range anxiety and the charging station anxiety, that is something which could be a myth for, to a certain extent, and that is what the customers are understanding. And I guess in most of the urban area, what I've seen is that most of the urban areas are getting better charging infrastructure. So I think the customers here are looking at these EVs more than the rural areas.
And talking about hybrids, the demand is more in tier 2 or tier 3?
Sorry, I missed the first part.
The hybrid demand, which pockets do you see it's increasing?
I guess again, if you look at the whole economy of this, because if you remember the presentation or the unveiling of these two products, if I'm talking about High Rider and Grand Vitara, the first thing which they flashed in front of the whole press was the fuel efficiency, which is almost 28 kilometers to a liter, and that is something which resonates with all the customers. कितना देती ही है is a universal question in our country, and now it's a global question. As far I mean, globally everyone is making more or working towards a more efficient product. And I guess if you look at High Rider and Grand Vitara, I think High Rider would have more urban appeal because the kind of questions and reactions I've got for that. And I guess Grand Vitara would be more urban plus semi-urban, rural kind of environment or market as well. So I think pan India, it should attract more customers.
Question over here. Do you think hybrids can also run as pure EV as a model with great fuel efficiency?
Biggest challenge, Kavita, here is the size of the battery. If you increase the size of the battery, then the weight goes for toss and even the price. And that is one of the biggest factors why most of the customers are not looking at electric vehicles, because if you look at Nexon, Nexon ICE, petrol or diesel, Nexon versus ICE versus the Nexon electric, the price difference is huge. If you EV Max is almost 19 to 20 lakhs for EV Max, which is just a Nexon. So when you increase that size, you can get more range, but it also increases the price. To get more if you talk about the range, there's certain limit, but there to a certain extent you can run. If you look at these two, High Rider and Grand Vitara, both of them have this mechanism where you can just run in the EV mode as well, but to a very limited distance. And I guess that makes it more efficient. But for hybrid, pure EV version, very limited run.
All right, so that's all in our conversation. Kranti, thank you so much for removing time and guiding our viewers and guiding them to a smart purchase, whether it should be a hybrid or an EV. Thank you so much for joining in.